So come on to the mat on your back. Now, if you're uncomfortable about being on your back for any reason, you can sit in a chair, okay? So not to worry, you can sit nice and tall in your chair, scooting all the way back so that your back is rested on the chair. If you're coming onto your back onto the mat, we're going to find the most supportive position on our back with our feet out wide, and then let your knees fall to the center. That should help stabilize the hips, allow the spine to rest sort of in a relaxed neutral spine on the ground. Let your hands rest wherever feels comfortable. They can settle on your hips. They can rest on the mat on either side. Or you can bring one hand to the chest and one hand to the belly. I want you to take a few breaths just to settle into this position. Remembering that, I'm guiding you, I'm giving you suggestions. But if anything doesn't feel right or feels, like it's not going to work for you, you have permission to change it. Close down the eyes. Let your breath deepen. And become more aware of your breath. Yoga is an act of mindful movement. So we start our practice by settling into our space, settling into our body, and becoming intimately connected to our breath. With each exhale, see if you can release a little bit more tension, starting from the head all the way down, moving through each part of the body, releasing just a little bit more into the mat underneath you. Let there be space between your teeth so that you're not clenching your jaw. Allow your tongue to rest lightly in the top of your mouth. And then create an internal drishti, so just an internal gazing point to your third eye, which is right between the eyebrows. We're going to do a breathing exercise. It's called the 4-part breath. We'll take the count of 4 to breathe in. We'll pause at the top. And then we'll take the count of 4 to exhale, pausing at the bottom. So let's begin by exhaling all of our air out, all the way to the bottom of our lungs. Begin your inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause. And exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause on empty. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause at the top. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Pausing at the bottom. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause. Exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. I want you to do 3 more rounds on your own. You can adjust your count to be either longer or shorter. After your third round, let go of the count, but maintain that nice full breath, even inhale and even exhale. We're going to transition into a seated position. Bring your legs together and allow yourself to roll onto your side. Your bicep might become a pillow. Pausing here if it's comfortable. If not, you can come right up into a seated position. Coming up nice and slowly. All right, here's where your folded towel or blanket comes into play. I want you to sit right down on it. And I'll show you from the side to start. Okay, so you're gonna sit down on it. Anything is okay with the legs. Okay, so your legs can be crossed like this if it's comfortable, or they can extend out, or one can extend out. Any variation there is fine. Okay, but what I want you to do is feel your sit bones down into the towel or the blanket. And then I want you to walk those sit bones, little steps towards the edge of your blanket so that you're almost rolling off. You're right on the edge with those sit bones. What that does is allows the pelvis to tilt forward and then allows you to sit nice and tall with a little bit more ease out of the hips. So your sit bones are just barely rolling over the edge of the towel or blanket so that you can sit nice and tall with a neutral hip. Take a moment here. Pull in the belly, feel the spine stack. Shoulders are right over the hips, ears are right over the shoulders. Let your hands rest softly on your knees. Okay, so you have a chair, if you thought you might need it. If you cannot find a comfortable position on the ground, you are welcome to sit in a chair. You would do the same thing. You wouldn't need the blanket. You just sit all the way to the edge of the chair so that you can find that neutral hip and sit tall. Close down the eyes again. Find that internal drishti right between the eyebrows, and then reconnect to your breath, in and out. We have a lot going on in the world right now. So much going on. And so it's reasonable to maybe feel a little bit of stress, maybe anxiety or unease. And one of the best things you can do when you feel that way is to breathe and to practice being present in the moment. And that's what we do in yoga. And that's really the essence of yoga, right? We move our body and we get some stretching, which is nice. But really what we're trying to do, and the word yoga comes from the word yoke, to put together your mind, body, and spirit so that you can come to alignment and be present as you move through not just your yoga practice, but through life. Flutter open your eyes. Bring your hands to heart center. Sitting tall, inhale, sweep your arms up, look up. Watch them connect. As you exhale, bring your hands down through heart center. Continue. Inhale. Make your connection of movement and breath. Exhale to heart center. We have 3 more right there. Let your arms be an expression of your breath. Continuing to anchor down into the present moment with your breath. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale one more time, arms stay up. Center your head. Exhale, flex at the wrist so the fingertips point forward. Inhale, point them up. Exhale, flex. So we're working through lymphedema for our upper body. Exhale, flex. Inhale, point them up. One more flex. Point up. Next time you exhale, make a fist. Pull all of your muscle to your bone on your arms. Inhale, release. Exhale, find that fist and engagement. Inhale, release. Two more. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. All right, release. Let the hands rest gently. Little circles. Find one direction. Keep them small, keep them slow. So here we're using gravity, a little bit of circular motion to invite the fluid to drain out of our arms. Switch your direction. We're almost done if your shoulders are starting to get tired. Keep breathing. Pause into stillness. Inhale, look up, reach up, watch your hands connect. Exhale down through heart center. Pausing here, release your hands to your knees. Exhale, cat. So when we do cat, we round the spine. We're going to tuck the tail underneath us. We're going to tuck our chin, finding flexion through the spine. Inhale, look up, broaden the chest, push the hips behind us, finding extension this time through the spine. And then move through cat-cow, exhaling here as you round. Inhaling as you broaden through the chest and extend the back. Couple more breaths. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Settling on a neutral spine, sitting tall, readjusting your sit bones as needed so you can ground down through your lower half but feel light through your upper half. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Keep your head neutral. Exhale, cactus your arms, squeeze your shoulder blades, keep your belly in. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, cactus, squeeze the shoulder blades, keep the belly in so you keep a neutral spine. Inhale, one more. Exhale. Inhale up, look up, watch your hands connect. Exhale down through heart center, pausing here. Lift your elbows just a little bit, pull the shoulders down and belly in. On your exhale, push your hands together, ignite your chest muscles. Inhale, release. So we're using contraction of the muscle. Exhale as you push your hands together. And our breath to help move fluid through our upper body. Exhale to press. Inhale, release. One more. After your last one, release your hands to your knees and two cat-cows. Exhale to round. Inhale to extend. Take them slow. No need to go to full range of motion. Just experiment. Feel your body. Settling in a neutral spine. Take your right hand to the ground right next to your right hip. Okay, if you're sitting in a chair, you're just going to put it right down on the chair next to you. Okay, this is option one. Option two is to slide your forearm behind you into the small of your back. Okay, if you're going to do that, make sure you can still sit tall and you can keep that shoulder open. You don't want to get into a rounded position just to get your hand back there. Okay, so you choose what's more comfortable for you. I want you to take your left ear to your left shoulder. Pause here. You should feel a stretch in the side of your neck. There's a tendency here to kind of lean. I want you to stay tall through the spine. It's just that ear tilting to the left shoulder. Pull that right shoulder down a little bit away from the right ear. On your next inhale, come to center. Exhale, tilt. Inhale to center. One more, exhale, tilt. Inhale to center. This time, exhale, turn left, pause. Okay, so we're looking in our blind spot for driving. Okay, and this one, there's a tendency to kind of rotate. I want your chest to stay square to the front. It's just the turning of the head. No need to crank on the neck. Just find your range of motion. A little bit of pulling of that right shoulder back in space as you continue to look left. Next, inhale, center your head. Exhale, turn left. Inhale to center. Exhale to turn. So we're working on lymphedema draining on the neck area. Exhale to turn. Inhale to center. Release the hand or bring it back up to the knee. And then just some shoulder rolls here. Go back nice and slow. Feeling the whole range of shrugging, pulling them down, back and around. Switch the direction. And then pause in stillness. Let's go to the other side. So you have two choices with that left hand. You can either bring it to the ground, to the mat, right next to your left hip, or you can slide it back behind you. My shoulder doesn't feel great with my hand behind me, so I'm gonna let my hand be right next to my hip here. All right, exhale, right ear, right shoulder, pause. Okay, so now we're opening up the left side of our neck, avoiding that tendency to want to lean into this. Stay tall through the spine. It's just that ear tilting. Pull that left shoulder down a little bit away from that left ear. Breathe, making sure you're really maintaining that nice full, even breath. Inhale to center. Exhale, tilt. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. This time as we exhale, turn right. So again, avoiding that temptation to turn the chest. You might find your range of motion is different on this side, and that's fine. We all have different range of motions on either side, generally. So notice it, but don't judge it. And then pulling that left shoulder back in space as you work on that range of motion, turning your head to the right. And again, not cranking on it too hard. You want to be gentle with your neck. Inhale to center. Exhale, turn. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Both hands on your knees. Roll the shoulders out one more time. Feeling the whole range of motion of that shrugging, pulling back and down and then forward. And then switch the rotation, switch the direction. Pausing in stillness, finding that nice tall spine. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Right hand comes right behind the right hip, and exhale, twist. We bring the left hand outside of the right knee. Pull the shoulders down, sit tall through the spine, finding a seated twist here. Again, we don't want to crank on the spine. So even though we've got our hand on our knee, and that does give us leverage, we don't want to crank on it and twist our spine more than we have the ability to do so with our own muscles. So a good test here is to lift both hands up and off of whatever they're touching and see if you can maintain your twist. If you kind of slingshot out of it, you're probably twisting your spine a little bit too much. So sitting tall, twisting right over that spine, right over those hips, maybe completing the twist by taking a look over the right shoulder. Maintain the shoulders down the back. Exhale all your air out. Maybe you get a little more twist as you exhale. Inhale, untwist, sweep the arms up. We're gonna go to the second side. Bring the left hand down, right behind the left hip. Exhale as you bring the right hand across the body to the outside of the left knee. So again, all of those same things apply. We want to sit tall. We don't want to crank on the spine. We want to use our core to help us in this twist. And then slowly turning our gaze behind us, completing our twist. Couple breaths here. You can do your little test. Pick the hands up, see if you can maintain your twist. And then replace them back down, shoulders down. Slowly unwind as you sweep your arms up, as you inhale. Exhale down through heart center. All right. Release your legs out in front of you, if they're not already. Okay, so again, you want that hip to kind of rock forward a little bit on your blanket. If you need to kind of readjust. If you happen to be in a chair here, you're only going to do one side. So you'll keep one leg bent, one leg straight in the chair. We're going to come into a forward fold, okay? So inhale, nice and tall through the spine. Exhale, I want you to hinge from the hips. Okay, you can walk your hands down your leg. Take this slow. If you have really tight hamstrings, which many of us do, a little bend in the knees. I want a nice long spine. So I want you to resist the urge to round through the spine. Stay tall. Your goal is to take those sit bones from straight down to slightly pointed behind you. That's what's going to stretch out the hamstrings. Couple of breaths. Make them full and equal. Slowly come up, bend your right knee. Plant your foot right on the ground next to your left leg. Bring your right hand right behind your hip like we just did in our twist. Inhale the left arm up. Exhale, twist towards that knee. Give that knee a big hug, pulling the knee across the chest just a little bit, hugging it in. Maybe you can lift up that right hand and give yourself a double hug if you feel like you need that hand planted behind the hip for stability and that ability to stay tall through the spine. Keep it there. If you're in a chair, okay, you're going to be right leg is bent and you're just going to use your hand on the outside of that right knee, okay? Coming into a twist that way. Slowly unwind, both legs out straight. Inhale, exhale, forward fold. A couple breaths here. Again, a little bend in the knees might do wonders for you. Keeping your spine long, trying to get your sit bones to slowly rotate towards the back of you just a little bit. Lead from the belly button with your fold. Come upright. Let's switch sides. So now the left leg bends, left foot flat on the ground, left hand right behind the left hip. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale as you twist to the left, grabbing that knee, giving it a hug, pulling it across your body as you sit tall and twist your chest to the left. So again, you might feel like you can lift up that left hand and give yourself a double hug. Make sure you have the ability to stay tall if you lift up that left hand. Shoulders down. Complete the twist by looking over the left shoulder. Slowly unwind. Okay, we're going to come into all fours, tabletop position. Okay, and we're going to do some cat-cow. So for Karen, I want you to have your chair ready. Okay, you're gonna have your hands on the chair. And if you're on your hands and knees, move into some cat-cows. So this is your all fours position right here. And you're gonna round the spine, tuck the tail, tuck the chin, pull the chest through, push the hips back, look up. So here is your cat-cow position. If you're on all fours, you're moving through your range of motion, really trying to pull the chest through, getting the stretch across the belly. Settle with a neutral spine. Okay, we're gonna go into bird dogs. Let's start with the right leg. Lift it up. So Karen, you're still in this bent over position. I know you can't see my whole body. And then lift the left arm right here, belly in. Find that nice reach through the fingertips all the way down through the opposite side heel. Lower it down, switch sides. Start with the leg, lift it up, keep the hips square to the mat underneath you, and then raise that arm up. Pausing at the top, belly in, shoulders down. Release it down, switch sides. Inhale, bring it up. Pause. Release down. One more each side. Lift it up. Lower it down. One more time on this side. All right, that's all we're doing on all fours. We're going to slowly transition back to our back. So if you're on all fours, you're just letting your hips come to one side, coming down onto your back. And feel free to add any props that you might need. If the blanket or a pillow under your head is going to make you more comfortable here, take the time, make yourself comfortable. And then I want you to adopt that same leg stance that we did in the beginning. So wide feet, as wide as the mat. Let the knees fall together. Let your hands rest wherever feels comfortable. Shut down the eyes. And one more time, reconnect to that breath. Connecting to your breath allows you to stay anchored in the moment. Allowing your breaths to be full. Allowing gravity to anchor you down onto the mat. Flutter open your eyes. Bring your feet to about hip width. And then let your knees windshield wiper from side to side. So be gentle at first. You'll find that the hip comes up off the mat as you fall from one side to the other. Just little rocks to start with. If those feel okay, then you can increase your range of motion, really reaching those knees across and down towards the ground. But take that slow, all right? We want to be careful when we're twisting side to side. One more each side. Settling with neutral legs. Pull the heels in as close to your sit bones as you feel comfortable doing. We're setting up for a bridge. But before we do bridge, we're going to do some pelvic tilts. Okay. So as you lay here with without any engagement, just letting yourself be relaxed, you'll find that your low back has a natural arch off the ground. What we're going to do is use our exhale. We're going to pull our belly button in towards our spine and flatten that low back curve as we pull our tailbone light off of the ground. Okay, it's not much you can see, but you should feel the bracing of the core when we do this. Okay, on your exhale, you'll find the engagement and the bracing. On your inhale, you'll let that natural low back curve come back in. Okay, so inhale fully. Use a nice long exhale, belly button in, low back flattens to the ground, scoop the tailbone up a little bit, like almost like you're coming into a bridge, but not quite. Inhale, release, and let that low back curve come back. Exhale, find the bracing, flatten that low back. Inhale, release. 3 more times. Exhale, pull the belly in, low back flattens, tailbone curves up. Inhale, release. 2 more. Use your own breath. Connect. Connect that movement with your breath. Right after that last one, so you inhale, let the low back curve come up. Now you're gonna do that pelvic tilt. This time we're gonna come up all the way into our bridge. So exhale, find that pelvic tilt, and then come all the way up, scooping the hips up, rolling the spine up, 1 vertebrae at a time, pausing here. So your feet should be pretty much under your knees. Your knees should be right out in front of your hips, so you want to try not to let them widen out. Give them a little, just a tiny squeeze. You'll feel your glutes engage. Try to create a nice long neck here through the crown of the head so that you're not holding tension in the neck. We're going to come down in reverse. Slowly lower the spine down 1 vertebrae at a time. Really try to get each one to have its moment. When you get to the low back, you're gonna have to pull the belly in and do that pelvic tilt in reverse, which takes some mind-body connection there. So work through that all the way to the tailbone and letting the low back come up. All right, go right into that pelvic tilt, pull the belly in, flatten the low back, scoop the hips up, 1 vertebrae at a time into your bridge. Pausing here in your bridge, long through the crown of the head. Little squeeze of the knees, drive through the heels. Now slowly come down, seeing if you can really articulate that spine down, pulling the belly in to get that low back to connect to the mat, and then lowering the hips, allowing that low back to come up. 1 more time. Exhale to start, belly in, low back down, scoop the hips up, roll the spine up. Find the top of your bridge. Couple breaths here. And then slowly, 1 vertebrae at a time, we come down, pulling the belly in to give the low back its turn on the mat, and then allowing the hips to rest. Good, just a little windshield wipering. 1, let the knees fall from side to side. Just to kind of reset the hips. All right, you may need your strap for this next sequence eventually. Okay, so if you've got a strap can be a lot of things. It can be a dog leash. It can be like my robe belt would be a great strap, a belt itself, or a dish towel. So lots of options for a strap. Take your left leg, stretch it out long. I want there to be a little engagement in that leg, so it's not just flopping there. It's got some structure to it. Pull your right knee in towards your chest. Check in with your shoulders. Release those shoulders to the mat. Try not to hold tension there. Wiggle out that bottom jaw. Now take that knee and slide it a little bit to the right and pull it in again. So it's kind of coming more to the side of the right rib cage. That engagement in the left side is going to help that left side stay anchored to the mat as you pull that right knee a little bit more towards the right. Circle out the ankle just a little bit here, couple of circles in one direction, and then a couple circles in the other direction. All right, release that knee just a little bit. Take your right hand to your right knee. Take your left hand to your left hip. That left hand is just a reminder for that left side to stay anchored to the ground. We're going to create some circles with our knee. Pick one direction And really what we're doing is we're circling out our hips. Our knee is just the thing that's kind of moving in space. So start small and then slowly increase that range of motion, and you'll find that when you come out wide out to the right with that right knee, you've got to really think about that left side staying anchored to the ground. Change your direction, and again, start small and then slowly maybe gain range of motion. Find stillness. I want you to bend your left leg so that your foot is flat on the ground and extend that right leg. Okay, so here is where if you feel like it's hard to keep that leg up above your hip without a strap, that's where the strap's going to come in. You're going to put the strap right over the ball of your foot and you're going to hold it with your right hand, okay? If you feel like this is doable without a strap, great, leave that leg there. Lymphedema for the lower body. Exhale, point the toe. Inhale, flex the foot. So pull the toes towards the shin. Exhale, point. Find the stretch across the shin. Exhale, flex. Sorry, inhale, flex. Exhale, point. Inhale, flex. 2 more. Next exhale, bend from the knee. Let the heel drop towards the glute. Keep the knee up towards the ceiling. Inhale, straighten it up. Exhale, pull the heel in and pull it in just a little bit so you feel your hamstring ignite. Inhale, press it up and find your quad ignite. So we want our muscle to engage on both ends range of motion so that we encourage more fluid to drain out of the lower body. And even if you didn't have, any issues with lymphedema with the lower half, this is really good for your legs. 1 more. All right, settle with your leg straight up, little circles. We're almost done on this leg. Keep the belly in to help your hips stay anchored. Small circles, slow circles. And then switch your direction. Pause in stillness. Bend the knee and bring the foot back down to the ground. Set your feet up for bridge. We're going to do 2 bridge with a pelvic tilt to start it in between our sides. So exhale, flatten the low back, scoot the hips up, find the top of your bridge, and then roll it right back down. Using that articulation of the spine, getting the low back on the ground, then the hips, and then exhale, begin your next one. Scoop the hips up, roll it up, slowly lower down 1 vertebrae at a time. All right, right leg extends out long. Engagement through that right leg, just a little bit. So there's some structure there. Pull the left knee in towards the chest. Pause here. Roll out the ankle, few circles in either direction. Release the shoulders. Wiggle out the jaw. Now let that knee come away from the chest, slide it a little bit more over to the left, and then pull it back in a little bit more towards the armpit, so it's to the outside of the left rib cage. And again, you'll need to find some engagement through that right hip and leg so you stay anchored. And then just one more time, check in with tension in the shoulders and jaw. Connect to your breath. All right, right hand, right hip, just as that reminder to stay anchored. Left hand right on top of that left knee. Start with some small circles of that knee around, getting that hip to circle out. As you increase the range of motion and open up a little bit more wider to the left, you'll find that that right side has got to engage to stay anchored. One more time this direction. Switch directions, getting that nice circle for the hip joint. One more. Pausing in the center, right leg bends, right foot flat on the ground. Extend your left leg up. Set up your strap if you need it. Okay. Exhale, point the toe. Inhale, flex. Exhale, point. Inhale, flex. So you want to find the muscle engagement at the end range of that flex and point to help that fluid get pumped out of the lower body. One more. On your next exhale, heel comes in towards the glute as you bend at the knee, pulling it in and then extending it up. So finding that muscle engagement in the quad when you're straight and the hamstring when you're bent. Using your breath and the movement engagement through the leg muscles to help that fluid get pumped out of the lower body. One more breath here, exhaling as you pull that heel in. Inhale as you straighten, little circles once you have a straight leg. Switch the direction, almost done. Settle in stillness. Let that left foot come down to the ground. Set your feet up for 2 bridges using your pelvic tilt to begin it. Scooping the hips up, peeling the spine up, slowly lowering it down. Being mindful, really connecting to your body to try to get each vertebrae down on the ground. One more time. All right, bring your legs together. Bring your knees together, your feet together. Open up your arms to a T. And then we're going to come into a supine twist. Now, sometimes it feels really nice to have something under your legs once you let them fall to the side just to help anchor them. So if you want to grab, sometimes all you need is maybe that blanket folded up one more time. Okay, so open up the arms, pull the knees and legs together, and just let the knees fall to the right, right? And having something right underneath the leg there to let your legs fall and release into the ground. Especially if you feel like you have limited range of motion there. So finding something to just anchor those knees. And then complete the twist by looking over the left shoulder. We're going to be pausing here for a moment. You can shut down the eyes. If you close your eyes, I want you to create that internal drishti between your third eye, between your eyebrows. Sometimes when we close our eyes, our mind just automatically starts to wander and escape out of the moment. But if we have a drishti or a gazing point to anchor our mind, we can stay present a little easier. With each exhale, see if you can release down into the supine twist a little bit more. Keep your breaths nice and full. As we settle into stillness in this posture, again, that mind might escape. Try to keep it present right here on your mat, in your body, focusing on your breath. All right, slowly bring those knees up through center. You can even use your hands to help you. Centering out your hips, keeping your legs together. If you've got a prop that you used on that side, shifting it over to the other side, opening up those arms to a T if they've moved, and then letting the knees fall to the left. Using any kind of prop to help anchor the knees to the ground so that you can slowly begin to let go here. So again, we'll be pausing here in the supine twist for a number of breaths. Your goal is to settle into the stillness. Keep your breath full. And keep your mind anchored right here, right now. Try to let go of tension throughout the body. We all have sort of sneaky tension that hangs on. I usually have it in my jaw and my shoulders. That's usually where I start. So just being really mindful and noticing where you might be gripping or holding tension where you don't need it. You don't need much tension in the body here. You want to let the softness of your body come into play. Again, if you're going to close your eyes, create that internal drishti. Notice if your mind starts to wander, pull it back to your breath. Slowly bring your knees back up to center. You can even help them with your left hand, centering your hips, and then letting your knees fall from side to side. All right, we're going to go back to that left leg straight out in front of us. Okay, there may be a time through this sequence where you might want to bend your knee and put your foot flat on the ground for more anchoring and grounding. Start with it straight, and you can kind of make that decision at some point if you feel like that might be more supportive. Go back to that right knee, pulling in and sliding it off to the side of your rib cage. So already here, you might feel like bending that knee is going to be better for you. You can always experiment if you're like, I don't know, experiment and see how it changes. Okay, and choose one, okay, whether that leg is straight or bent. If it's straight though, a little bit of engagement so it stays anchored. Okay, we're going to come into a half happy baby. So half happy baby, you've got your foot towards the ceiling. Okay, now if you have the ability to grab your foot, great. Maybe you can get your ankle, awesome. If you can't get either one of those, you can use a strap, or you can take your arm and just pull it behind your knee. Regardless of where your hand or arm is, you're pulling that knee All right, I'm back. Are you guys all still there? All right. Okay, I got our practice together. I'm glad you're all there. This is the joys of the new technology that we have to deal with here. So we're in this open position of our hips. I'm assuming you guys have been there since I left you. So allow that right hand to come underneath the right knee, back up to center, and switch sides. So our right leg extends long, pull the left knee in and off to the side. Again, you can make that choice, whether you want to bend the right leg for more anchoring and grounding, or keep it straight. Coming into our half happy baby. So either the foot or the ankle or grabbing behind the knee, either way, pulling that leg down towards the outer rib cage. And again, that right leg might need to bend to find comfort and grounding here. I don't want you to work too hard. No pain, remember that. Release out of the half happy baby. If you've got that right leg bent, extend it long. Bring the sole of the foot to the inner thigh or inner leg anywhere. And then again, a little bit of anchoring of that left leg with something underneath it might feel quite nice here. Relaxing here, allowing that left knee to fall towards the ground. Breathe. Letting the hips be heavy on the ground, letting the shoulders be heavy on the ground. Use your left hand on the outside of the left knee. Pull it upright. We're going to do legs up the wall in the middle of the room. Okay, so if you feel like both legs coming up over your hips is going to be difficult, I want you to do one leg at a time. You can use a strap if you need it to keep your leg up. All we're doing is keeping our legs up above our hips for a little bit of time. So either both legs or one leg. I'll give you a halfway point if you're doing one leg. Sometimes having a little lift underneath our hips so you can actually use your blanket. You know, and you can take the time to do it. And just putting a little bit of lift under your hips, sometimes that helps you be able to keep those legs up above the hips. All right, here I want you to close down the eyes. Go soft in the jaw. Breathe. Feel the mat underneath you as you stay present in your space. If you've got one leg up, it's halfway point, so switch your legs. Slowly bring your feet, both of them, down to the mat. Extend one leg at a time. Settling into our final resting pose, Shavasana. In Shavasana, we take as much time as we need to settle into the mat onto our back. If you want to add any props, maybe a pillow under your knees, or a pillow or a blanket under your head, or maybe cover up with your blanket or towel. So take the time to be comfortable. We want to be able to relax into Shavasana. Close down the eyes. Let your natural rhythm of breath take over. But still stay anchored to that inhale and exhale. In Shavasana, we invite stillness into the body, stillness into the mind, but connection of mind and body. So we want to stay conscious through the mind, staying present in our body as we breathe and let go and succumb to stillness. Your job here is just to breathe, stay present. Each breath, inhaling and exhaling. Very slowly, I want you to begin to deepen your breath, just little bits at a time. Just coming back up to the surface through your breath. Rub your thumb against each of your fingertips a couple of times. And then wiggle out the toes. This transition is yours. I'll make a few suggestions, but ultimately we're taking our time to come into a comfortable seated position. Reach overhead, find a full body stretch. Inhaling and pushing the belly up to the ceiling. And then roll to your side. Taking a moment here, finding that connection with the ground, creating a moment of gratitude before coming up to our seated position. And then eventually coming all the way up, taking your time, sitting on your blanket so that you can have a nice tall spine. I like to sit on a block. So take your time, find that seated position, sit tall. Again, find that anchoring through your lower half and lightness and buoyancy through the top half. Once you're in your seated position, close down your eyes. Bring your hands to heart center. Lift your chest to meet your thumbs with pride. Lower your chin slightly in gratitude. Breathe here. Yoga has a lot of tools that we use on the mat and through our practice. like our breath, staying connected. And those tools can take us out into the world, and we can use those tools as we move through our days and weeks off of the mat. Just remembering next time you might feel overwhelmed or stressed or uneasy or anxious, take a nice deep breath. Enjoy that breath. Focus in on that breath so it pulls you right into the present moment. And then notice how doing that changes the way you feel, or may change the way you feel. There's physiological changes and neurological changes that happen when we feel connected to the present moment and when we breathe. Thank you for joining today. The highest light in me sees and honors and respects the highest light in each of you. Bring your thumbs to your third eye. Give a little bow. Namaste.